And then Ez goes from 0 to 100 as he buries his face into my neck, which, okay, I've never actually gotten a whole lot of action before, i.e. I've never even been kissed, and just feeling his mouth there kind of drives me crazy. I let out an embarrassing squeak gasp, and Ezra puffs out a muffled laugh against the same damn spot. I look up to see our audience staring, wide-eyed, totally scandalized. I wiggle my fingers at the man in a sarcastic half-wave, but he must take that as an invitation to speak. You know, he goes, with a slight accent, I have a grandson who's gay. Ezra and I glance at each other with raised eyebrows. Okay, I say. The man nods. Yes, I never knew. And then one day you sat me down, and my wife, Betsy, before she passed, and then he was crying, and he told us, I'm gay. He'd already known for years, but he didn't say anything because he was so afraid of what we would think. I can't blame him for being afraid. The stories you hear. And his own father. Heartbreaking. You'd think a parent would always love their child, no matter what. He pauses in his monologue, looking around as the train begins to slow down. Anyway, this is my stop. He stands as the doors open. You would like my grandson, I think. You two seem like very nice gay boys. And with that, the man is lost to the platform as the woman with the baby stroller follows him out. Ezra and I look at each other, and I burst out laughing. He shakes his head. New York, man, he says. Seriously, only in New York. We get off at Lorimer Metropolitan and walk down and then back up a bunch of stairs to get to the L train. It's June 1st, the first day of Pride Month in the city, so there are no bigotry allowed rainbow-colored signs plastered on the tiled walls. The platform is filled with pink-skinned Williamsburg hipsters, and the train takes forever to come. Shit, we're going to be late, Ezra says. Yeah, well, Declan's going to be pissed. I don't really care, to be honest. Declan's a dick. Not like we can do anything about it, right? By the time the train arrives, everyone's fighting to get on, and we're all packed together, me crushed against Ezra, the smell of beer and BO slicking the air. The subway rattles and shakes, almost throwing us off our feet, until finally we make it to Union Square. It's a typical crowded afternoon in the city. The sheer amount of people. That's what I hate most about Lower Manhattan. At least in Brooklyn, you can walk down the street without being bumped into by 20 different shoulders and handbags. At least in Brooklyn, you don't have to worry if you're literally invisible because of your brown skin. Sometimes, I try to find a white person to walk behind just so that when everyone jumps out of that person's way, they won't knock into me. Ezra and I inch our way through the crowd and past the farmer's market, the smell of fish following us. We're dressed pretty much the way we always are. Even though it's summer, Ezra wears a black t-shirt, sleeves rolled up to his shoulders to show off his Klimt tattoo of Judith I and the head of Holofernes. He has on tight black jeans that are cut off a few inches too high above his ankles, stained white Converses, and long socks with portraits of Andy Warhol. He has a gold septum piercing, and his thick, curly black hair is tied up in a bun, sides shaved. Whenever I'm around Ezra, eyes usually skip right over me to stare at him. I have curly hair, a loose gray tank that shows my dark scars on my chest, darker than the rest of my golden brown skin, a pair of denim shorts, smaller random tattoos that I'd gotten for $20 down at Astor Place. My dad flipped out the first time, but he's gotten used to them now. And worn out sneakers that I've written and drawn all over with a Sharpie. Ezra thinks I've ruined them. He has a thing for keeping the purity of the designer's intent. We walk through the crowds of people who idle in front of the farmer's market stalls, selling jars of jam and freshly baked bread and flowers with bursts of color, men in business suits shoving past, dogs on leashes, and toddlers on three-wheeled scooters threatening to trip us. We make it out of the farmer's market and up the path that cuts through the green lawn where a few couples laid out on blankets. Some kids show off on their skateboards. Girls in summer dresses and shades lounge on benches with books that they aren't really reading.